Hey guys, it's Jaylon. Welcome back. I'm here today to do a different video than I normally do. This is going to be a video about all the items I have hit pan on. So I've been wanting to do this video for a while and I finally just pulled everything out. I'm hoping to have this up in the month of June when I am traveling, but we'll see how that goes. So I'm hoping I grabbed everything. I think I did. I may have missed an item or two, but this is like everything. So it's face products, so powders, blushes, bronzers, highlighters, and eyeshadows. I don't really have any. I mean, I have like one lip product that's in a pot that has pan, but I'm not gonna talk about that. This is mostly like other makeup items. So I think I'm just going to start with like face products and then we'll go into eyeshadows. So yeah, we'll start with powders. This is exciting. Okay, so starting with pressed powders, I have several here. From Maybelline, I have like I think this is called the Better Skin, Superstay Better Skin powder. This is in the shade Ivory number 20. This has been sitting in my purse, so like the packaging is all rubbed off, but I have pan in this one. I'm currently working on this in a project to finish. You guys, this eyeshadow look is crazy. What do you guys think? Another powder by Maybelline. This is the Fit Me Matte and Poreless powder. This one here. This is in the shade 120 Classic Ivory as well. So we have pan in that one. I have pan in my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Skin Perfecting Micro Powder. This is the shade Fair. I already have a backup of this, but I have major pan in this. I love this powder under my eyes. By Essence, I have the Mattifying Compact Powder in the shade Light Beige. So this product here, I don't know if they still make this, but yeah, there's pan there. This, I don't really like this powder, so I typically will use this to set my eyeshadow primer, and a lot of these I do that with. This is by The Balm. It's the Sexy Mama Anti-Shine Translucent Powder. This one here, I've had this forever, but yeah, I have pan in this one. This is a little dark for me, so it's better for me in the summer. And the last powder that I have pan in is actually in this Tarte palette. This is the Skin Twinkle Lighting Palette, and it has this awful powder in the center that I have hit pan on. It's terrible. It's super powdery. It's real. I mean, look at that. I just swatched it, and there's like, it's terrible. But I use this to set my eyeshadow primer to hit pan. Anyway, pan in that. Okay, so those are all the like pressed powders I've hit pan in, like for your face. Now moving on to bronzers. So I do have I have two loose pans. This is from the Benefit Cheekathon palette. I depotted it. I actually panned this as a pan that palette one year, and I just wanted to hit pan in all of the products. I ended up decluttering, I think, one or two. Anyway, this is Benefit Hoola. So I have pan in this. And I use this as a bronzer. This is Benefit Dallas. So I use this as a bronzer. I don't use this as a blush. I also have pan in my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. This is a pretty decent size pan. And I have pan in, I'm going to stop saying I have pan. The next one I have is the Marc Jacobs Omega Bronze Tantastic. That's the shade Tantastic. So there's my pan there. I think some people said that they had an air bubble. I didn't experience that in this bronzer. I have pan in this a bronzer in a NARS palette. I hit pan in this last year. This is the Nordstrom's Best Cheek palette. And I hit pan in Laguna. So you can see here, there's that pan. It's like right at the side. And the last bronzer, actually it's more of a contour shade that I have pan in. It's in this Anastasia Beverly Hills contour kit. This is the light to medium kit. And I think I ended up using this as an eyeshadow, to be honest. But I hit pan in this shade here. And this one is Fawn. So yeah, pan in that one. So those are all the bronzers and like contour powders. Now moving on to blush. There's not a ton of blush. There's some, but not a ton. I'm calling this pan, but like it's a very, very small, like teeny tiny pan. You can see the waffle pattern on here. This is again by that Benefit Cheekathon palette. This is Benefit Rockateur. So it's barely pan. There's like a little bit of pan, like, I mean, it's barely pan. It's there. Then I have Benefit Dandelion. So those are the two loose pans. Then I have by Too Faced the Love Flush Blush in Baby Love. So it's this little mini. And there's my little pan there in the corner. By Tarte, I actually have two Tarte blushes. This is the shade Party. So there's my teeny tiny pan. Pan is pan, man. And then I have pan in Exposed as well. I love this shade. Love it. I have pan in one MAC blush. These take forever to hit pan in. This is the shade Blush Baby. I freaking love this blush. It's so pretty. And I've had this one forever. But yeah, there's my pan. Took forever. And then I have pan in one of my Colourpop Super Shock Cheek shades. This is Between the Sheets. So this is one that has major pan. I think I rolled this into Nightmare on Panning Street or something, and I hit massive pan just by using it. I think that's the project. I could be wrong. I need to clean that up. It's gross. So anyway, those are the blushes. So not a ton of blushes, but there's some. Okay, moving on to highlighters. I have like one loose pan. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills highlighter in the shade Starburst. This was in a glow kit, but I depotted it because I got rid of some of the other shades in there. So yeah, Starburst. I have pan in this NARS Duo in Hot Sands and Orgasm. So I have pan in the highlighter Hot Sands. This is a really beautiful highlighter. Sorry, I'm not swatching these because we'll be here forever. I have pan in the Balms Mary Luminizer. This is kind of a teeny tiny pan. I think, well, no, it's actually bigger than I thought. I think once I hit pan, I was like, okay, moving on to the next one. I love this highlighter. It's really nice. I have pan in the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector Pressed in the shade Moonstone. So there's my pan. I've actually been working on this one, so the pan has expanded a bit. I have one Tarte highlighter that I've hit pan on. It's the Exposed highlight. Here's the packaging. And this one's a little hard to see, but you can see my pan like right there. Pan is pan. Okay, I have this Laura Geller. Whoa. I have the Laura Geller Baked Gelato Swirl Illuminator in Peach Glow. This is a very loved highlighter. I love this one. It's gorgeous. Took forever too. It's a baked product. They take forever. I have two from Dior. So this is the Dior Skin Nude Air Luminizer in Holo Pink. So this was a limited edition shade. So there's my pan there. I love these highlighters so much. And the second one I have pan in, this was an older highlighter. This is the Nude Air Luminizer in 002. I think this is Pink Glow, so same packaging. This is, I think these are discontinued products now, but I freaking love them. So there's my pan there. Highlighters are so much easier to hit pan in than blush. And then I have four from Colourpop. These are all the Super Shock Cheek highlighters. So this is Part of Your World. It was a Disney collaboration. And there's my pan there. I have Smoke and Whistles. Some of these I'm like, I hit pan and then I move on. Uh-oh, this is cracked. Well, you can't tell. Look, this is cracked. I'm going to need to use this. This is the shade Strapped. These are so pretty. And the last highlighter that I have pan on is the shade Lunch Money. These are still so creamy and so nice. Currently working on Flexitarian, so that one's going to take me a while. So those are all the face products that I have pan in. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I lied. I have one more. It's in a palette. It's in the Natasha Denona. Let's see. This is the Diamond and Blush palette. So I have a blush and highlighter in here. They're both the cream version. So you can see here's the blush and then the highlighter. That is the Duo Glow blush and the cream blush. I forgot about this palette. It was sitting right there and I missed it. Yeah, so that is officially, I think, all of the face products that I have hit pan on. So I'm going to move this aside and I will start pulling out eyeshadows. So I'm going to start with single eyeshadows that are still in their pots. So they're not depotted. They're not like single eyeshadows. They're not in magnetic palettes, if that makes sense. I'm going to start with a couple of cream type eyeshadows. So from JCat Beauty, I have the Chrome Eye Mousse and Prismetal Chrome Eye Mousse in the shade Champagne Whiz. So here's the packaging, and then I just hit pan on this for Throwback 30. Took 20 uses to hit pan. And I have two from, what are these? Maybelline. Two from Maybelline. These are the Color Tattoos. This one is in the shade Inked and Pink. So typical packaging here. I think they still make these. So this one's a little hard to see, but can you see that pan there? I also had pan in the Natasha Denona cream eyeshadow, but I had to add Duraline to it and mix it around, so I lost the pan. And then the second Maybelline one I have pan in is the shade Barely Branded, and this one is, there we go. It probably needs to have some Duraline added to it, to be honest. Looks a little dried out. And then from L'Oreal, I have the Infallible Eyeshadow in Amber Rush. I have several of these, but this is the only one that I have pan in. This was also in a project. So here's my pan. I was very proud of this one. It took forever. Okay, a couple of other like creamy products. I have from Tarte the Chrome Paint Shadow Pot in Frosé. So I hit pan in this last year. This is gorgeous. You can see the pan there. I mean, there we go. This is stunning. I love this. I love this product. Love, love, love. It's beautiful. And then I also have by Hourglass the Scattered Light Glitter Eyeshadow in the shade Reflect. So I'm currently working on hitting pan in another one of these in Aura, but I did hit my goal in Reflect in another project. Let's see, can you see? There we go. There you can see the pan. Kind of hard to see. This is beautiful. Beautiful formula. And then I have two from Colourpop. The first one I have is Paisley. And I need to be working on my Colourpop shadows to hit pan because I only have pan in 2 and I have a lot more than 2. The other one I have pan in is Amaze. And here is Amaze. All right, and then in terms of like powder eyeshadows, I have this NARS. Let's see. I don't know what these were called, but this is the eyeshadow in Earthshine. So it comes in this packaging, and here's the shadow is stunning. I have one from Stila. This is Kitten, and it's kind of like kind of hard to see. Well, there's the pan. This is really pretty. I somehow have 2 of these. I need to work on it. From Sugarpill, I have the eyeshadow in Poison Plum. I used this today, so there's a little bit of the blue shadow in the middle, but there we go. There's my shiny pan. And then lastly, I have 2 from MAC. This first one is the Shiny Pretty Shadow in the shade Joy 2. So I usually depot my MAC shadows, but I have not depotted these. Here's my big pan. And this one is the Extra Dimension eyeshadow in the shade It's Snowing. So there's a big pan there. So those are all like the loose, like potted shadows that I have pan in. Now I'm going to show you eyeshadow palettes. I think there's 19 here. I could be wrong. And all of these have been hit in the last like year and a half since the beginning of last year, except for maybe 2 palettes. Everything else has been in the last year and a half. So the first one I have is by Colourpop. It's my Pleasure palette. I have pan in the shade Chiclet. One from the Too Faced Just Peachy Mattes palette. Took forever. I have the shade Peach Punch with pan. Oh my god, took forever. From Urban Decay, I have this Urban Spectrum eyeshadow palette, and I hit pan in Junkie. Another Urban Decay palette. This is the Elements palette. And this has pan in the shade Dreamweaver, which is this one here. There we go. You can see the pan. I have another one from Urban Decay. This is the After Dark palette. And I have pan in the shade Backfire right here. It's a big one. Big pan. And I think those are... Oh, no, I have one more Urban Decay. I have the Naked Cherry palette, and this one has pan in the shade Juicy, right there. Okay, now one from Lime Crime. This is the Venus 3 palette, and I have pan in Heavenly. From the Colored Rain Queen of Hearts palette, I have pan in Royal Highness. Starting to look a little loved. From Zoeva, I have the Cocoa Blend palette. Oh, dirty. And I hit pan in Beans Are White, which is this one here. From Tati Beauty, I have the Volume 1 palette, which I can't believe that other one that she was working on was released. That's so weird. Crazy. I have the Metallic shade Metallic Poet shade that I hit pan in. Yeah, there we go. It's kind of hard to see. From Makeup Revolution, I have the Emily Edit the Wants palette, and I hit pan in Apartment. This one. I have 2 from Marc Jacobs. The first one is the Fantasine palette, and oh, this is a crumbly mess. I have pan in, this is the shade is it Fantasy? Yeah, Fantasy. This one here. And from Provocateur, I have pan in, that shade is Say It. whoops, say it right there. From Natasha Denona, I have the Peak palette, and I have pan in Amhara. This took forever too. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Whoo! Took forever. From Huda Beauty, I have the Amethyst Obsessions palette. Obsessions. Was that right? And the pan is in like this lilac or fuchsia shimmer shade. And then these now this palette I hit pan in this year, and it's been repressed. And like, okay, it's my Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye Contour Quad and Rust. So I hit pan in this shade and then repressed it. So I'm working on hitting pan again. I did hit pan in this shade, and then I used some of the eyeshadow in a Franken. So, but I did have pan in this one before I expanded it by digging some of it out. So yeah, this one does have pan, technically. And I think I hit pan in this one maybe like towards the end of last year. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Luxury Palette in the shade Pillow Talk. And I have 2 pans in here. So I'm working on this in Throwback 30. This is, those 2 shades are Enhance and Smoke. So this one is Enhance and this one is Smoke. I would love to have pan in all 4 of those, but not yet. And these are older. So I hit pan on these before the beginning of last year. The first one I have is a MAC Duo. This is just a holiday duo. 2 shades in here are Just Gleaming and Snow Dusk, and I have pan in both of these. This is my Baby Pan That palette that I'm working on. Another palette that I had pan on before the beginning of last year. This was in my Doogie Pan My Battleship project with Verity over at Red Dirt and Stardust. I think that's her channel name. Anyway, it's the Lorac Shine Bright palette. And this one has a lot of pans. So there's the palette. So I hit pan in every single shadow except for, let's see, I think there's 2 I don't have pan in, which is Icicle and then this gold yellow shade, which is Gold Rush. Everything else has pan in it. It may be hard to see, but everything else has pan. I think there's like this one here. I took some of that shadow out to Franken, and I also took out a little bit of Primrose, but they all had pan. All those shadows had pan. So those are the palettes that I have pan in. So there's 19, and I think I looked at my pan percentage, and I think based on my inventory as of February, I don't think I've entered everything in for May or April. And I have 249 eyeshadow palettes. So my pan percentage is like 7.6 or something. Yeah, 7.6%. I'm working on giving my palette some love. Okay, now I'm going to share with you the like single pans of eyeshadow that are in like my magnetic palettes. I'm just going to go through each of these and just pull out eyeshadows as I see that they have pan. So the first one, some of these are like magnetic palettes that have shadows that I need to put back. The first one I have is MAC Hope. So they're not going to be in any order by brand or anything. I have Urban Decay eyeshadow in the shade X. This is so pretty. Ooh. And by Colourpop, I have the shade Mr. Sandman. Ooh. You can see that big pan right there. I did just recently hit pan in the shade Petal Pusher by Makeup Geek. Also by MAC, I have the shade Pink Venus. Hopefully this is interesting to you guys. I don't know. Okay, let me just, here, why don't I show you these palettes. This is a Makeup Forever magnetic palette, and this has like some pinky, rosy eyeshadows. I kind of separate my eyeshadows by tone or color. So I showed you Pink Venus. I have this one here by Makeup Geek, the shade Cupcake. The last one in here is by Colourpop, and it's the shade Say I Do. Okay, I have another Makeup Forever palette here. This has like blues, greens, and some larger pans. So the first one I have here, this is a pressed pigment or a loose pigment that I pressed into a pan. It's just a green shimmer. So this was in like I want to say a Harry Potter project or something, but my goal was to hit pan. I finally did that. From MAC, I have the shade Contrast. So there's my little pan. This was a shadow that shattered. So I went for that little area where there was not very much shadow. And I think the last pan I have in here is in this huge Makeup Forever eyeshadow. This is the shade M928. It's really pretty. Now, none of these have pan, but I do want to show you. I have this Tarte magnetic palette, and this has all of my Clionadh eyeshadows. I have them in here alphabetical order. Actually, this is probably better. So there are some gaps because I have some of those eyeshadows in projects. So they're actually hanging out in my other Tarte magnetic palette. And let me just, yeah, I do have a pan in here. So here is this one. And I just recently hit pan in this one. This is another pigment, loose pigment that was that I pressed. This is Tammy Tenuka Rapture. This is in my Zodiac project. And I also have like my Franken shades down here, and I do have pan in one of those, but I'm not really counting those. I also have this Divina Cosmetics Obscura magnetic palette. It was part of their Black Friday exclusive thing. So it has some eyeshadows in here, but none of these have pan. So I thought I'd show it to you. I have this Z palette that has some like special shadows. And I do have pan in one of these. This is another pressed pigment. I can't remember. I think this is a Dawn Eyes Cosmetics eyeshadow, but whatever shade it was rubbed off, so I can't remember the shade name. I need to write it back on here in a Sharpie. Fantastical, maybe? I can't remember. The last two magnetic palettes are my huge ones. These are from Colored Rain. These are giant. So this first one has like neutral and like warm tones. So the first eyeshadow that I see that has pan is this one for Makeup Geek. This is Shimma Shimma. Next from MAC, I have the shade Naked Lunch. Another from MAC is Blanc Type. The next one is also by Makeup Geek. It's the shade Mirage. And this is from Ofra. I think this came in like a subscription box. It's the shade Buttercream. From Anastasia Beverly Hills, I have the shade Date Rate. From MAC, I have Malt. Colourpop's Made to Last. Another from ABH, this is Dusty Rose. ABH, this is Rich Brown. From MAC, I have the shade Sketch. This is a gorgeous eyeshadow. Makeup Geek's Creme Brulee. Colourpop Wake Up Call. And the last one in here is by Anastasia Beverly Hills. It is Hot Chocolate. I am not counting how many pans this is. I have no idea. Maybe I should. Yeah, 26 so far of like singles. And the last magnetic palette is also by Colored Rain. And this one has mostly like purples. Purple and kind of some reddy orangey tones there at the bottom. Oh my god, how many was that? I don't know. 27. I have by MAC Stars and Rockets. From Anastasia Beverly Hills Electro. This is a loose shadow that was pressed into a pan by me. And I really don't know what this shadow was, but there's pan there. From Looxie, I have the shade Ultraviolet. From Colourpop, I have Glass Bowl. I love that shadow so much. Another one from Colourpop is 143. This is a gorgeous eyeshadow. And I think this may be my last one. Yeah, I think this is my last one. This is by Nabla Cosmetics. And this is the shade Alchemy. I hit pan on this last year. It's gorgeous. So that's 33 pans in my singles, like magnetic, that are in my magnetic palettes. 33. Is that what I said? 33? And I think that is everything. Yeah. I don't think I missed any. Hopefully. So I will try to keep track of the new things that I have hit pan on for like a yearly project potentially. But yeah, so those are all the makeup items I have hit pan on. So what was the most interesting thing for you guys? Do you guys want to see like swatches of all of my singles? I have not determined what my pan percentage is of my singles. I think I can figure that out though. I have some singles that I have not entered into my spreadsheet yet. But I think it's about around 10% pan percentage on my singles that are in magnetic palettes. Now, I'd have to double check that. That's a rough estimate. Rough, very, very rough. So anyway, that is going to be it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you are doing well and staying safe. Please hit that subscribe button and I will see y'all next time. Bye. I have pan in the no. So the first one, these are all the super. Okay, I'm going to start with like singles that are not depotted. Eyeshadows that I have hit. From the Zoeva palette, I have the from the Tarte, another palette that I, now none of these eyeshadows have pans, but no. From Colourpop, Plop. Okay, bye.